Do you have a good candidate intake? Let's put yours to the test. Check out this video right now to find out. Hey, welcome to the Millionaire Recruiter. I'm Brandon Rooney, your Millionaire Recruiter. And if you have not seen this channel before, it is all about upping your game in the recruiting industry. So if you have seen any of my videos before, I talk a lot about candidate experience and when the closing of a candidate starts. Really starts with the intake. So you have to build the relationship with the intake, and that's what helps you find out their motivators and take you to the close. In my opinion, I don't think you can close a candidate properly if you have not had a good intake with them. I'm not saying it can't be done. It can, and maybe I should do some videos on that, on how to save a relationship for a close. But if you have a great intake and you ask the right questions, that should really set you up for success throughout the entire journey, and it really, really starts that relationship build. So let's do a fun share screen, and I will show you my format and just different questions that I ask in order to set us up for success. One thing as well to note is I've gotten a ton of amazing responses to do the Millionaire Recruiter course. However, we are shutting it down for a little while, and it's only because it really needs to be updated, and we're going to put it on a different platform, something more robust. So it's worth the wait, I promise. I know I'm backlogged on quite a few emails and requests for the course. I am not ignoring you. I'm just trying to put some better material together because, as you know, the recruiting world moves very quickly. We talk about that all the time, and I just think that there are some modules that need to be spruced up. So definitely wait for that, and I'll announce that as it comes, probably within like a month, I would say, but be patient with me. Thanks so much, and I appreciate your support 100%. So I will see you on the share screen. Okay, so the people that have watched my videos before definitely know that I am a tech recruiter. I love tech recruiting, but you know, there is definitely some facets to it that you might not be interested in. So what I did was a general intake or recruiter screen, depending on what you call it. And so also depending on whether you are contingency or internal will depend on how much you get into this first question, which is why are you interested in Google, for example? You definitely, as a contingency recruiter, you're pitching a few companies, and obviously internal, you're just pitching one because you work for one. But you do want to still grasp as to like why they got back to you, why they're interested in whatever companies you pitched, for sure, because that helps them, you know, get to the front of the line. Another thing is, why are you actively looking? Are you actively looking, or are you just taking a peek? So this is always fun because everyone will say, you know, no one wants to be a stinky cheese. Everyone will say, oh my God, I'm just taking a peek. So that's no big deal, but that's not true. They're actively looking the moment they talk to you. So you want to then, this might even bring you to, you know, right here, this question I have, what stage are you at in the interview process? What other companies you're talking to? This brings a lot of context into what kind of companies you're interested in. Are you at on-site stage? Do you have offers? This is really timeline, and this will actually call out if they're being truthful with you. So if they're saying, oh my God, I'm just taking a peek, and then you go, oh, do you have any, are you at on-site? Oh yeah, I've got a couple on-sites. Sounds like you're not just taking a peek, obviously. You know, so it's like that coming to as far as relationship goes, in my opinion. And then you move right on to, well, what caused you to want to interview at Google and move on from your current role? Like, why are we talking today? That's basically it. Why are we talking today? What are your 3 motivating factors? What is going to make you leave your job? There's a lot of responses that I find unacceptable, and one is, it's a hot market. That's why I'm taking a look around. You know, no. What is actually going to make you tell your boss that you no longer are going to work there, and that you're moving on to Google? And then what's also going to stop you from taking a counteroffer? Because how easy is that? So if people are just truly money motivated, which by the way, I am not judging that, and you need to know, because then you're going to move, well, what are your comp expectations? Way up here to the top, because if that's what motivates them, then we need to talk about it, and we need to see exactly how in line or outrageous their ask might be, because that might end your conversation right there. What's very important is that you understand your time, the company's time, and even this person's time is extremely important. You are here to help them, but if you can't, based on their expectations, then you need to be clear that it's not going to work out and tell them why it's not going to work out. And then that might even put them back on their heels and might have them realize, well, wait, no. I actually wanted to leave because X, Y, Z. Remember, recruiters don't always have the best names, so you have to figure out what they're really here for. Another one is, what have you been working on in your recent role? So you want to find out what their genius is. Like what's their specialty? What are they here for? How does it align to the open position that you contacted them for? Not only that, but what do they want to do in their future role? And what do you want to do in your future role? Will speak to their motivating factors. Then you might find their motivating factors. Remember, you got to dig. You are their career coach. You are here to find out where they should and shouldn't go. Some people might have an envision of where they want to go, what they want to do, and it might not be accurate. They might go somewhere totally different, and you're here to figure that out. Which then goes to, have you looked at the job description from Google? Is there anything you on there that you do not feel 100% on? If so, what is it? Here's what happens. You ask them, hey, so what do you think of the job description? Like, you feel like it's all good? Yeah, I can totally do the job. I'm super interested. No. We didn't ask if you're super interested. We asked, how well do you actually fit this role? I think that that's super important. Everyone's very optimistic, very into, I'll just bullshit my way through this and get hired and figure it out. That's all fine and dandy, but you need to figure this out. You can't keep setting hiring managers up for failure, which is actually setting your candidate up for failure. And you are also, again, wasting your time. I go back to all of this. And I do think that candidates will respect this in order that you have their best interest here, and that's true. So then, if you didn't already ask what stage in the interview process, this is where you have to do it. You need to know timeline. You need to know if they're at on-site stage. You have to be realistic with, let's say, Google's interview process, how long it's going to take. Let them know. You, again, don't want to waste time. Ideal start date. You need to know when they want to start. If in a perfect world, and you always have to have like scenarios for them. In a perfect world, Google's it for you. When are you starting? You put in your 2 weeks notice and going for it. You need to know if they have vacations. You need to know if there's bonuses that need to be paid out, if they want to if they're going to wait for 3 to 4 months. And then this brings you to, what is their work authorization? Because that might take some time in order to transfer certain visas, and if they want to work on receipt. This is a whole other thing. Not all companies will transfer visas, so you need to know what your client will and will not do. This also might bring, green card into play. Maybe they want to get their green card by a certain amount of time. This is all setting it up, like I said, for the close, for the negotiation. Now, with COVID brought a lot of remote work. Not everybody's back. Not everybody's going back. So you definitely need to know what location they prefer, how often they're willing to commute, how far they're willing to commute, and if maybe they want to stay remote. Because again, this plays into whether this is a good fit for them, or if you're contingency, what companies would be a good fit for them. Now here, if you didn't bring it up before, I tend to leave it to the end, again, unless someone brings it up in the beginning and it seems like money is their motivating factor. I will definitely leave this to the end. You build a solid relationship, you build trust, and then you talk about comp. This is what makes the world go around for sure, and you need as much context as possible. So in a few states, and it's hard to always keep track because laws change all the time, it's technically illegal to ask someone what they're currently making. Now, recruiters are this gray area, and it's kind of a fun gray area, but we want to keep the up and up as much as possible, but you do need context. A total comp response, like, oh, I want 300K total comp. Nope, that's not going to work. You need it really base compensation expectations, and then you can have total comp. So is that going to be from a sign-on? Is that a bonus? Is that with equity? Are you counting health benefits in here? You have to get as much context as possible because definitely this comes in at the end and it's very difficult to get it at the end. It's near impossible, I feel. So, and it can get a little aggressive and it just needs to, start it from the beginning, because if their expectations are way higher, then you have to address it. You cannot let that person go through the entire interview process, waste their time, waste the company's time, and again, waste your time. Not okay. And then this is something right here that I've added more lately. It's just what method of contact you prefer to use. There's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of people using Slack, at their own job. So I feel like emails aren't getting responded to as much. So you want to ask them: phone, email, text. LinkedIn probably should be on here too, if that's how they got back to you, most likely. You need to know what they prefer. You also need to know, like, I'm going to contact you on all of them if you don't get back to me. That's probably going to happen. So that's why you really should know, what they prefer. And then at the end of the call, I think most important is setting expectations with next steps. It was great talking to you. I will now send your resume to the hiring manager. What days and times work in the next 2 to 3 days for a phone interview? Feel free to reach out to me anytime with questions. Also, update me on a timeline of your search. If you need to move faster, slow things down, I can definitely do that for you. I know Google would never want to lose you due to time. Have a wonderful day. Talk soon. So setting up expectations is crucial. They don't want, people get very anxious during a job search. You don't want them to be pushing send and receive on your email, waiting for your phone call, not, having a bad candidate experience. It's the last thing you want people to do. And you also, at this moment, I would always add either a personal touch in the beginning or at the end or both. Everyone always says don't mix business with pleasure. I disagree in the recruiting industry because we are very much people-focused industry, and like I always say in a lot of my videos, is there's nothing more personal to a person than their career and their family, and so this is important to acknowledge. And so you share a little bit about yourself. It shares them as well, and it lets them feel really, like you do care and you are their career coach, right? It's way more powerful than that. So definitely set the expectations and set the time frame and let them know, like, look, I have power here if you need to move things faster or slower, right? Like that's super important too. They need to know that you are their go-to person for this, for sure. So please put some stuff down below if I missed anything and what your favorite thing was, for sure. And I will catch you on the flip side. Okay, I hope you enjoyed just a quick, intake format. The questions, and they might seem pretty straightforward to you, but not a lot of people actually get the answers because they're listening to what they want to hear. And some people even treat it as like an investigation, like, okay, I gotta ask you all these questions before we can move forward. This is very much a conversation, so do not forget that. And if there's anything I missed, I would love to hear what it is, what you ask, and maybe how you ask it, because that's super important too. So definitely pay it forward and comment below, like, subscribe, and I will see you every Thursday at noon. And do not forget that money is just the vessel that gets you to do all the amazing things you want to go do in life. Go live it. Talk to you next week.